We hear about them all the time, public scandals that we sometimes don't even want to believe, especially when it has to do with the leaders among us. It's something Grand Bahamians know all too well after two of their very own found themselves on the wrong side of the law. After 2 years, she still can't come to grips with what happened, and the events of January 2009 explains it all. The much-loved former Progressive Liberal Party Senator Pleasant Bridgewater and her client, former ambulance driver Tarina Lightbourne, were accused of trying to extort $25 million from famed Hollywood actor John Travolta after his 16-year-old son Jet died at the family's vacation home in Grand Bahama. Lightbourne was among the medics who treated the teen. The charges against the two were eventually dropped as Mr. Travolta decided not to pursue the case following a mistrial. But the damage was already done. Ms. Bridgewater's face had already become a fixture on international TV screens.
It was something that I never, in my wildest dream, anticipated would have happened. But it happened. And as difficult as it was to cope with, I'm gradually coming out of it. It certainly put me in a shell, so to speak, where I just wanted to be to myself, by myself, to sort of begin to understand myself and why it happened and then how I was going to rebound from it. And certainly it was a time where I spent so much time by myself and with the Lord. And it certainly drew me closer to God, because at most times he was the only one I could depend on. And in fact, God was the only one that understood what I was going through. Or who I felt understood what I was going through.
For Miss Bridgewater, picking up the pieces has meant taking things day by day.
I am trying to rebuild, and when I say rebuild, I mean rebuild in different aspects, in particular my legal practice, because a lot of things have happened. In terms of things that fell through the cracks, in terms of, you have, I guess there's a rippling effect of things. So I was not in the practice for almost 2 years. And so there are things that now I have to deal with. So I have those issues that must be dealt with. And so I'm rebuilding or trying to rebuild a block at a time. And so I'm trying to rebuild the firmament to try and resolve some issues that are still outstanding.
And as for the lessons she has learned along the way?
When I got into that problem, it was like the whole world, or my whole world seemed to have been came tumbling down. And so I didn't know what to do, how to do, or where to go. And now that it is behind me and I have to rebuild, it certainly has told me that regardless of how you may think you have things under control, or that things are going, or how good you may think you are or have been, that bad things happen to good people. God has also sort of pull out those who didn't mean you any good, or who you thought meant you good, or who were your friends, or who should have been, you felt people would have had your back. And so I found out that I have a very small circle of friends.
Now, many in the Grand Bahama community are hoping that Ms. Bridgewater, who served as the Member of Parliament for Marco City from 2002 to 2007, would return to politics. But it appears that's not going to happen anytime soon.
But I always say, I don't know whether the Lord will lead me in that direction, but as it stands now, I'm not interested in the politics in that kind of way. Wow. It's a strange kind of feeling, because I so much wanted to be in the front line of politics and to be involved in the development of my country, and I strove to do that, and I did it, in my opinion, the best that I could have. I do not feel that the politics was, at the end of the day, that it was good to me, but I did my best.
Reporting for JCN News, I'm Karissma Robinson.